These fallen angels were known as the Watchers. And one thing that they watched were how pretty women were on the earth. And in fact, some of these Watchers or fallen angels decided to marry and even mate with human women, which was a great, great sin in the eyes of God. And according to this narrative, whenever an angelic being and a human mate and produce a child, the result will be a Nephilim. What is a Nephilim? A creature that was never supposed to exist. A diabolical integration of the angelic with human flesh. A walking abomination. Now, this could all just be a great story and very creative. However, Genesis 6 says this. Look at what it says in Genesis chapter 6. It shows us one of the main reasons why God sent the flood upon the earth. So here it says that when human beings began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them as they chose. Then the Lord said, my spirit will not contend or will not remain in humans forever, for they are mortal, and their days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them, and they were the heroes of old, men of renown. So here we see in this story, it's talking about what happened right leading up to the flood, and it's showing that the sons of God here saw the daughters of human beings, and they were attracted to them, and they decided to marry them, and they had children by the daughters of humans, and the product of that were these Nephilim. And then here it says that they were the heroes. Who is it referring to? Most scholars would say that this is referring to the Nephilim. Back in those days, were the heroes. They were great, great creatures of strength. And we see in verse 6, it says that this really disturbed God, and it says that the Lord regretted that he had even made human beings on the earth. His heart was deeply troubled. But we know that God did find favor with Noah and his family. And so therefore, Noah and his family were saved in the ark. God then sent the flood and basically wiped out all of humanity and these Nephilim creatures, which in his eyes were just a huge abomination. They were never, ever supposed to exist. So ultimately, we see here that one of the reasons why the flood came is because the sons of God impregnated humans and produced these hybrid Nephilim creatures. Now, just like any biblical passage, there's always going to be various interpretations. Some scholars say that the sons of God here may refer to a different race of humans. However, it seems that the majority of modern scholars, and more importantly, ancient scholars, view the sons of God here as referring to angelic beings. Why is that? Well, remember the story of Job. Job was a righteous man, and he had favor with God. And so Satan wanted to test Job's faith and harm him. But in order for Satan to do that, he had to first ask God for permission. Look at how it reads, Job 1:6. It says that the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came with them. So here in this scene, we see that the angels, they came before God, and Satan also came with them, and then began to ask God if he could attack Job. So the interesting thing here is that these angelic beings are being referred to as the sons of God. And so that's one reason why some scholars would say that the sons of God in Genesis 6 refers to angelic spiritual beings. and specifically in Genesis 6, the fallen angels who chose to follow Satan. Now again, according to ancient Jewish literature found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, such as the Book of Enoch, the fallen angels who chose to impregnate human women were immediately punished by God and were chained and placed in prison in the darkest region of hell for doing that. And they were placed in a region of hell called Tartarus. And so it's quite an interesting narrative. And so the question we have to ask ourselves is there anything in the Bible that says that the angels who sinned with these women were chained up and placed in Tartarus? Is there anything in the Bible that mentions that? Well, actually, the Apostle Peter alludes to something similar in one of his letters. Look at how it reads in 2 Peter 2:4. So here Peter is talking about the judgment of God. And here he says regarding the angels, he says, God did not spare the angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment, but sent them to hell. Now, I always say that whenever you come across the word hell in either the New Testament or the Old Testament, because of modern translations, you really have to investigate the Greek and Hebrew word that was translated into the English word hell. And one of the reasons is because the word hell is translated from many different words. In the New Testament, it's translated from the word Hades. Sometimes you'll see the word hell translated from the word Gehenna. Sometimes it is translated from the word Tartaro. And these are three different things. And so we want to look here to see what is the Greek word behind this translation of hell. And to do so, we're just going to go to tools here. And we see that it says that if God did not spare the angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell, and the Greek word used there is Tartaro. What is Tartaro? The deepest abyss of hell. Tartaro refers to the deepest abyss of Hades. In the Greek, it is often referred to as the abode of the wicked dead. And so, being the deepest abyss of Hades, we see that Tartaro is not just Hades. It's not just hell. Tartaro is the darkest, probably the most painful region of Hades. And that's where the angels who sinned were chained and sent to. The Greek word Tartarus, held there for Judgment Day. So pretty scary stuff.